are now listening to The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys. The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys is a John Mitchell story and is brought to you by Cine Downloads. Narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Previously on the Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys.
Potentially fighting both the temple and the other demons will be hard.
100 demons will protect the march from the temple. However, fighting Effelhofken and De Hoofke will be beyond them. But let's not forget, my friend, that I also have retained my powers.
Now the next part of the story. Episode 20. The Chief Exec is sitting behind his desk. He is coated in sweat, and his cold, clammy hands are wrapped around a lukewarm cup of sugary, sweet coffee. He grips it tightly for some time before he reaches down and opens his desk. He takes out a half-finished bottle of cheap blended whiskey, opens it, and pours a hefty measure into the coffee cup, causing the excess coffee to spill all over his desk. He curses, then grabs some nearby paper to mop up the mess. But as he stands up, his bloated belly knocks the desk, causing the coffee cup to spill its contents everywhere. He gives up and sits back in his chair, despondent, as his coffee-whiskey mixture drips all over the carpet. There is a knock at his door, and he lifts his head to see Tracy, his secretary, looking at him disapprovingly. She tells him that he has a visitor and walks out of the room. He clumsily tries to rearrange himself to look half-decent, and calls out to her to send them in. Seconds later, the reporter walks into view. The Chief Exec can't quite remember who he is, but ushers him into the office anyway. The reporter takes a seat facing the Chief Exec and has a smile on his face. The Chief Exec has little time for niceties, however, and asks abruptly,
"I don't know you. What do you want?"
The reporter is a little taken aback by this, but carries on anyway.
Hello, I met you at the gate to the Demon Zone earlier. You said you'd be happy to meet me for a chat.
Ah, yes, I remember you now. You're one of the temple guys who got their asses kicked today, right?
Well, I am with the temple, but as you can see, I didn't get my ass kicked.
The reporter replies smugly.
What do you want?
Asks the Chief Exec with growing irritation.
Yes, I'll cut to the point. Now, I understand that what I'm about to tell you may sound quite mad, but it is of interest to me to see what you think.
I've had a very bad day. Now, please get to the point.
Okay, the point is this. I was in some toilets a few days ago when I overheard a couple of mysterious men discussing you. Something about allowing a march of demons through the city.
The Chief Exec goes white and his hands become even clammier.
What did these men say?
Ah, so it's true.
No, the only thing that is true is that you like to spend your time in male toilets listening to men. I'm asking you because you've got my attention. Now, please continue.
So anyway, these men were saying that if you were indeed allowing the march, they'd be very upset with you.
Right, okay, and?
And Bruce would finally have some company, as he's very lonely.
The Chief Exec's throat goes dry on hearing this, and he croaks.
Well, I have no idea what you're talking about. You must be mistaken.
The reporter goes in for the kill.
Who is this Bruce? And who are those strange men?
I don't know.
Why would they mention a demon protest if there are no demons, only refugees? Is there a conspiracy here in which you are deeply involved? Who else knows about this, and how deep does it go?
The Chief Exec has had enough.
Look, this is all madness. The random conversations you overhear while you spend your spare time in men's toilets have got nothing to do with me.
The reporter takes out his phone, which has been recording the entire conversation.
If there's nothing going on, then you won't mind if I go public with this conversation we just had, will you?
The chief exec looks at the phone and then at the reporter.
We haven't had a conversation. You've just come in here spouting a bunch of random conspiracy crap you heard in very seedy circumstances. And if you go public with that, you'll look like a complete idiot, so be my guest and get the fuck out of my office.
The reporter goes quiet and stands up. He takes his phone and puts it back in his pocket. Then, with one last look of determination, he speaks.
I'm on to you, Chief Executive. Don't you forget that.
Then he turns and walks out of the office. The chief exec puts his head in his clammy hands and tries to compose himself. After a few minutes, he leaves his office. There's no sign of the reporter, so he goes over to Tracy.
Tracy, can you get me an appointment with the Illuminati? I have something important to discuss with them.
Tracy looks at him blankly.
Sure. Now, where would be the best place to find the Illuminati's phone number? Oh, yes. Here they are in the yellow pages. Page 666.
She says sarcastically.
Okay, forget I mentioned it. I'm going to the toilet. I'll be back in an hour or so.
He walks off, and Tracy looks at him disapprovingly. The hunter is sitting on his sofa, looking miserable. On the table in front of him is the last of his cash. A grand total of £5.47. He is staring into space, wondering how he can get some money together as he's low on food, cakes and crisps. The minstrel is happily playing him a sad medieval song about hungry peasants starving to death and being eaten by rats. The hunter nods along to the beat while he thinks. There's a knock at the door, and the hunter's concentration is broken and replaced by anxiety. Is that the landlord wanting his rent money? It must be, as nobody else knows he's here, he thinks feverishly. But then again, it might just be some random person with a leaflet. So he decides to take a peek between the curtains. He opens a crack in the curtains and carefully places his eye against it to get a look. He sees 3 sun-tanned guys with scars and prison tattoos all over their arms and faces, waiting at the door. These guys look mean, vicious, and very dangerous. He thinks they could be Mormons or Jehovah's. He's not sure, so he decides to go and speak with them. But wait, he thinks. There's something familiar about the tattoos on their faces. Then he remembers where he's seen them before. He spent some time in Brazil when he was a youngster, and these guys are from Brazil. The minstrel is playing his song very quietly now, and the hunter tells him how these guys are Brazilian street gangsters. They are members of the Barata Inoperante gang, the dead cockroaches from Sao Paulo. This gang kidnaps their enemies, skins them alive, shoots them in the back of the head, and then feeds their bodies to chihuahuas. Individually, they are formidable fighters. They are experts in Brazilian knife fighting, capoeira, and Gracie jiu-jitsu. He tells the minstrel that he can definitely take one in a fight, possibly 2, but the third is a little too much. The minstrel gives him a look of mock belief. The hunter decides to go and speak with them before they smash the door down and make the landlord angry. He opens the door, and the 3 Brazilians look him up and down. The one at the front has a sheet of paper. He glances down at this, and then back at the hunter.
Are you eBay username Mr. Big Sausage 69?
The hunter looks at them and realizes these guys are here about the trampoline shipment. How the hell did they find out where he lives?
Okay, guys, we've got a lot to discuss. Come inside.
Says the hunter. The three Brazilian gangsters look at each other and then follow the hunter inside and into his room. Once inside, the hunter fires his question at them.
You've come all the way from Brazil to see me. How did you know where to find me?
The Brazilian with the paper speaks.
You sent us an email with your address. The email was sent from your eBay account. How else would we know?
I didn't send anything. That's bullshit.
The Brazilian looks confused and hands over the sheet of paper to the hunter, who takes it carefully. He examines it and sees that it is indeed a printout of a message from his eBay account. He thinks hard, but can't understand how that email got sent. He looks over to the minstrel, who is still playing quietly. The minstrel gives him his best innocent look. The hunter feels a bit suspicious about the minstrel, who is now openly smirking at him. He studies him for a further few seconds before breaking off his stare and turning back to the Brazilians.
Okay, I still don't know how that email got sent, but you've travelled a long way to get here, so let's talk business.
You have the money for us? The email says you have 100 grand ready in cash. We take that money and we send the shipment, which is still docked in Sao Paulo. You have it in 3 weeks. Sound good, no?
Sounds perfect, apart from the fact I don't have the cash. In fact, I have no money at all.
The Brazilians suddenly become very fiery and whip out sharp knives.
We want our money for those trampolines, Ingalls Pavo. We're not some Brazil monkey boys. We'll cut you up, gut you, and hang your entrails from the trees. The parrots will peck your cock off. We are not playing about. We're the Barata Inoperante. This is Pablo. He is our best skinner. And this is Pedro. He is our best Chihuahua breeder. He's won many contests and trophies.
Okay, relax. I said I don't have any money, but I have something even better than that.
The Brazilians look at him with eyes of steels.
I have opportunity.
The Brazilians look at each other and wonder whether they should knife him now or wait.
Here's the deal. I'm offering a chance for you to buy shares in that shipment for a down payment of 1,000 each. I'll sign you up and you'll be guaranteed to be top of the triangle, where you can sell further shares to people that sign up, who will be one level below you, and you'll be able to earn a bonus on each share they sell, with increased bonuses whenever they move up a level. It's a self-perpetuating money circle.
What the hell are you talking about?
The Brazilians are flummoxed.
This is simple, guys. This opportunity hasn't even opened in Brazil yet, so you three would be at the very top. Brazil is wide open for this opportunity. If you get on board now, you're guaranteed a massive passive income for the rest of your lives. What do you think?
The Brazilians start talking amongst themselves in Portuguese.
Yeah, I like the sound of this, Pepe. We could make a lot of money with this.
With what? He's making no sense.
He is selling us shares in the shipment that we already own. It's ridiculous. What do you think, Pablo?
I think we should cut his throat and bleed him on the floor.
Okay, that's fair. Let me speak to him some more first.
Pepe, the leader of the Brazilians, turns back to the hunter and speaks in English.
We're not convinced. You're offering us shares in a shipment which we already own and are trying to sell to you.
Right. Let me explain it again more simply this time. You own the trampolines, but I own the promise to buy the trampolines off you, and am selling shares in that promise. When I've sold enough shares, I'll have the money to buy the trampolines, but if you buy some shares, then you'll earn money off those trampolines I bought. In fact, you'll earn a lot of money, as the shares pay out a bonus on every share sold on that promise to pay you for the trampolines in the first place, which I've already promised to pay for. Are you still with me?
God damn it, Pepe. Can I cut his throat already?
Pablo whispers in Pepe's ear. Pepe hears this but wants more information.
What kind of crazy scheme is this?
It's network marketing. It's the latest way to provide a passive income for everyone. It benefits all, as everyone makes a profit.
We spit on network marketing. On the streets of Sao Paulo, we use pyramid schemes to make money, not this network marketing crap.
Pablo spits on the hunter's floor. Pedro spits on the hunter's bed, and Pepe spits on the hunter's spare clothes hanging on a chair. The hunter ignores all this spitting and carries on his sales pitch.
Well, technically, it's not network marketing, as I've just made most of it up. It's actually my own version, and I call it a triangle scheme, and the people at the top of the triangle, which would be you guys, make money every time someone else joins and buys shares. The more people buy in, then the more money gets made. It's not a pyramid scheme, it's a triangle scheme, so it's totally different and completely legal. It's so easy, you'd be foolish not to do it.
The hunter waits for a reaction. The Brazilians turn to each other and speak in Portuguese again.
Pedro, what you think? We don't have a triangle scheme in Sao Paulo?
I think it's a brand new and could be good on the street. Many people will sign up for this. They know about pyramids, but not triangles.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't want this filthy Inglese pig dog involved.
Hey, I feel the same way. If we are not cutting his throat and bleeding him, then we should steal his triangle and take it back to Brazil, and he can go and fuck himself.
Okay, then it's agreed.
The three Brazilians nod and shake hands before Pepe turns back to the hunter and speaks in English again.
Okay, Mr. Big Sausage 69, we are taking all your shares in the shipment and we are going back to Brazil with your triangle. We use these shares to buy our shipment of ourselves, which we then sell for bonuses on the street. But you getting nothing, Ingalls, nada, nothing. We are taking the triangle and all the trampolines. You stay here while we take it all away, or you have problem with that, and we cut your throat like a pig, you understand?
The hunter nods, but he does not quite believe what's going on. The three Brazilians seem quite happy with the situation and respectfully shake his hand, nod and smile in turn. As they leave, they knock his kettle over, smash some cups, throw a cushion at the wall, and give him the finger.
Fuck you, Inglese pig!
Pablo screams at him on the way through the door. The hunter watches them through the crack in the curtain. He sees them stride down the street. And once out of sight, he turns to the minstrel.
I have no clue how the hell I managed to pull that off. But I've got out of paying $100 grand for the trampolines and avoided getting my throat cut at the same time.
The minstrel looks really angry. The reporter is back in his toilet cubicle at the temple. He is busy listening to the conversation he recorded on his phone with the chief executive.
And who are those strange men?
Once it has ended, he restarts it. He repeats this over and over, as if he's looking for some kind of clue that he missed at the time.
Conspiracy here in which you are deeply
He is so close to putting the whole conspiracy into place. He can almost taste the victory when he reveals to the world his story, and the world worships his awesome journalistic abilities.
There are no demons, only refugees.
Suddenly, he hears a quiet splashing from outside the cubicle. Someone is in the toilets with him. It sounds like possibly two people. There was no sound from the creaking toilet door, so whoever it is must have been in there for quite some time, possibly listening to his recorded phone conversation. He grows anxious as the splashing comes nearer. He slows his breathing so it can be hardly heard, as he hopes they will just walk on by. But the splashing comes even closer. The splashing stops right outside his cubicle door. The reporter's eyes are wide open with fear. Now there's a knock on his cubicle door. He waits for a moment before answering.
I'm having a poo. Come back later, thank you.
There's a silence for seconds before the knocking starts again, louder this time. Whoever is at his door isn't going away anytime soon, so he summons all his journalistic courage and decides to find out who this is. He reaches over for the latch and pulls it back before flinging the door wide open. In front of him stand two red-robed figures standing 9 feet tall and peering down with bony fingers pointing at his face. He's instantly petrified. The two figures look at each other, then the one on the left speaks.
Hello there, Mr. Reporter. That was a very interesting recording you captured on your phone. You seem to be making some headway with your investigation.
The reporter doesn't know what to say. He's too shocked by these two strange figures. Instead of taking his eyes off them, he carefully puts his phone away in his jacket pocket.
Yes, your investigation seems to be gathering rather a lot of momentum. Almost so that it is taking you down some quite dangerous avenues.
As the other Illuminati figure,
Who are you guys? How do you know about me?
the reporter calls out. This makes the Illuminati laugh before the one on the left responds.
Considering your quite persistent journalistic skills, you seem to be wholly ignorant of the way things are run. We are representatives of the shadow government.
We are the power behind the power of every power in the world.
We are like ghosts that control the globe, the unseen yet ever-present puppeteers, making mankind dance to our tune.
We are the Illuminati!
Well, representatives of. We don't get invited to all the meetings and parties.
Yes, quite. We do seem to miss a remarkable amount of gatherings.
Or rather, they don't invite us. Perhaps they forget about us, or they just don't value our contribution.
Yes, there is definitely something going on. It can't just be a coincidence that we miss all of these things. They didn't even invite us to the annual Christmas party, and they had Slade booked to appear.
We should speak to Charles when we next see him. He has a greater understanding of the inner workings and should be able to...
Excuse me, gentlemen,
Interrupts the reporter.
but if you have finished with me, I really should be going.
This focuses the Illuminati and they shove him back into the cubicle while their lumbering forms then block the doorway.
We'll cut to the chase, reporter, as we have no wish to remain much longer in this piss-soaked quagmire.
Indeed, the bitter stench of urine bites into my sinuses like a school of rabid piranha.
We want to know what you know and what you intend to do with it.
Our organisation has vested interests in this situation, and having a rogue element producing unpredictable results will upset our overall ambitions. Some people will become very cross.
The reporter looks at them both. He knows that his pushing has now brought down the attention of the people he wants to expose. He knows they will be watching him from now on, and with their resources, he'll never be entirely safe. So he decides to give them what he knows.
I know that you guys have created a cover-up about the demons. You've made the media report it all as refugees, and you have somehow done the impossible and covered up the fact that half a city centre has been blockaded off and no one is asking any questions about it.
The Illuminati look at each other and nod smugly.
I also know that these demons are having a march organised, which will walk out of the city centre and will destroy your lives in one swoop. So it makes no difference what I know, as soon the whole world will know anyway.
The reporter stares at the two figures and then they turn to each other and mutter under their hoods. They turn back to the reporter once they've reached an agreement.
Yes, that is quite a lot of the story. Not all, but a lot. Enough for us to take notice anyway. Naturally, this march will not be taking place. It will be stopped before it begins, so our cover-up will remain in place for the foreseeable future.
The story you have is, of course, dynamite. And if you were to go public, it would cement you in the public psyche as one of the best journalists in the world.
But you'd also be one of the deadest journalists in the world too.
The reporter's eyes go wide with fear.
Were you aware that for you not to run this story, you would have to be amply compensated? Especially so, since the story is so huge. We are not scary monsters. The Illuminati value and protect loyalty wherever they find it.
Unless, of course, that means inviting people to the Christmas party to see Slade.
Hisses the other Illuminati.
Oh, say that for when you see Charles.
The Illuminati hisses back at him before turning to the reporter.
What we are offering is a carrot and stick scenario. We can give you your job back in the media, or even put you behind a news desk like Tiffany Towers on the TV, complete with a big fat bonus in your bank account. That would be much better for you than spending your time here up to your ankles in stale piss. Or you could go against us and publish your story and end up like Bruce. Bruce?
The reporter wonders. The Illuminati smile and move away from the cubicle door. They beckon the reporter to follow, and he does. They move over to a nearby cubicle, and the door is opened. The reporter goes white with shock as he sees the forlorn form of a bound and gagged Bruce Tomahawk sitting on the toilet. He stares at Bruce for some time. He knows Bruce disappeared off the face of the earth weeks ago with much publicity and searching. And he now knows that if he defies these guys, they'll disappear him too. The Illuminati close the cubicle door and turn to the reporter.
We will be back to speak to you again soon, and we will expect an answer from you. I hope you choose wisely.
The reporter gulps and stares at them both. They look at each other and shuffle off through the lake of piss, then out through the creaky toilet door. The reporter rushes over to Bruce's cubicle, opens the door, but Bruce has gone too. He closes the door and goes over to the basins, where he splashes his face with cold water and looks at his own reflection. He wonders what he should do. His story has now been confirmed as being true, and if he were to publish it, it would be the biggest story of the year. He would win another award, but the cost would be a life on the run or end up like Bruce. Would the truth be worth that? What of this job they mentioned? Sure, it would be great to be back on the TV. He would be probably far better off than he was before. But he'd always know that he sold out his principles and left these Illuminati folk to carry on manipulating the world unchallenged. Could he live with that on his conscience? He just didn't know what to do.
Yes, Tracy, what is it?
The chief exec asks wearily.
You have a visitor. The head of Specific Integrated Economic Transitional Strategies is here to see you.
Oh, God.
The chief exec buries his head in his hands.
Send the good wizard in, Tracy.
The good wizard emerges through the door. His face is like thunder, and he storms over to the chief exec's desk.
Why are you trying to stop this march? We're having obstacles thrown in front of us every step of the way. Police repeatedly saying no to every route we provide. Roadworks suddenly need doing. Roads constantly being dug up for cables and pipes that didn't need doing before. Other areas we want to march through suddenly off limits for half marathons and cycle rallies. You will stop this childishness and let the march go through.
The chief exec's face emerges from behind his hands. He looks tired and worn. He looks up at the good wizard.
I told you that I would stop this march any way I could. If it goes through, then the Illuminati will come for revenge. I'm not putting myself in the firing line for your personal moral crusade. The march will never happen.
The good wizard draws closer to the chief exec.
I've been in contact with the highest echelons of the Union. They are extremely keen for this march to go through. The positive promotion it will create will be out of this world. Now, if you continue to block this march, I promise there will be retaliation.
What kind of retaliation?
the chief asks with a jaded look in his eyes.
It will be twofold. Firstly, our lawyers are already putting a case together to get this march moving. They will take this all the way to the highest courts in the land if they have to. The legal costs on this council will be astronomical. Secondly, we've balloted our membership and we are looking at the total strike action across the city in support of our demon brothers and sisters. The bin men, social workers, recycling staff, litter pickers, leaf blowers, office people and thousands of others will simply stay at home for as long as they have to. This city will be brought to its knees and everyone will know that it happened on your watch. Your career will be effectively over. So for your sake, let the march go ahead unobstructed.
The good wizard slams his fist on the desk and stares at the chief exec. The chief exec takes a deep breath. He knows that if the march is blocked, it'll finish his career. But if the march goes ahead, the Illuminati will finish him. There has to be another option for him, a third way. He thinks for a few moments, then remembers something that will save him. He looks up at the good wizard, but now with a smile on his face.
Okay, organize your march of monsters, you arrogant prick. There will be no official obstacles in your way. Now get out of my office before I have you thrown out.
The good wizard looks at him suspiciously, but nods in agreement before leaving the room. Once he's gone, the chief exec picks up the phone and calls Steve at the temple.
Steve, this is Chief Exec. Did you get all the money that was sent to you? Yes, the £550,000 secretly paid into your account. You've got it all? Well, that's good. That's very good. Now, I remember about the $50,000 you were going to pay me from that. Well, I will need it as soon as possible, as I may be leaving the country. Well, if things go wrong with the march, I won't be hanging around, so I will need that cash made available.
Steve, on the other end of the phone at the temple, closes the door to the room he's in and talks quietly to the chief exec.
Look, nothing is going to go wrong with the march. You've paid me a lot of money to see that these demons get smashed up. My temple staff will take these demons down before the march even gets started. I've already given you my word on that.
That's very reassuring. I want you to send in the next attack. Right away.
Right away? We don't have any staff right now. So many were injured after the last attack.
Well, that's not my problem. I spent an utterly ridiculous fortune of taxpayers' money on you. Now I want to see a return on that investment. Get that attack underway right now.
Okay. The attack will be started pronto.
Good, and make sure that 50 grand is available to me in the next few days. I want the money.
The chief exec ends the call, and his shaking hands reach into his desk for his bottle of whiskey. Steve puts his phone inside his jacket pocket. He is fuming at being spoken to with such an aggressive tone. Just because he was being paid an extortionate amount of money by the chief executive doesn't mean that he was his lackey to be pushed about. He vows to make the chief exec pay for that liberty with him. He then walks out of the room into the main hall in the temple. Here he finds Cheng watching Kok speaking to the new recruits who are fresh from the employment agency. Steve walks up to Cheng and they both stand for a few moments watching Kok and the recruits.
So what are these new troops like, Cheng?
Asks Steve quietly. Cheng turns his face to whisper his reply.
They look as useless as the last ones. Soft, weak, no pride, no ambition, no desire to be a part of something larger than themselves. It would take many months to forge them into soldiers. Most won't make it that far.
Well, we need them fighting sooner than that. The next attack must go out immediately.
Are you mad? They have only just arrived. We've only just shown them where the canteen and things are. They can hardly tie up their own bootlaces, let alone fight a demon.
Look, I don't like it either, but the chief executive of the council wants another attack to go in, and if we don't do it, he said he will cut all our funding. If that happens, we won't have any staff at all.
Without proper training, it would be a defeat. But with no training at all, it will be a suicide mission for these people.
Don't worry about that. If the worst happens, just call the agency or the job centre, and they'll send some more.
I can't believe you're saying that.
Look, Jing, an attack has to go in really soon. We have no choice.
Cheng thinks for a short while.
Can you give me until tomorrow night? We have some weapons that will be enchanted by then and might help avoid the carnage.
Steve mulls this over before responding.
Okay, tomorrow night, and then we attack.
Steve walks away abruptly, leaving Cheng shaking his head. Kok has noticed this conversation and tells his recruits to have a quick tea break while he speaks to the temple master about how good they are. The recruits are all very pleased to hear this.
Master, I saw you speaking to that crazy son of a bitch, Steve. What did he want this time? Water turning into wine?
Kok, is there any way we could get these recruits ready for a non-combative mission into the Demon Zone?
Sure, but it will take about 4 weeks minimum.
No, we need it to happen tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night? That fucking prick, Steve? Why does he keep coming up with these impossible demands?
Kok, come down, listen. Steve wants an attack, but we'll give him an intelligence gathering mission instead. We have the team dressed in black and go in and observe and gather intel. Once done, we get them out again. If there is any enemy contact, order the troops to disperse and run away. Otherwise, we have a few enchanted weapons which will be available for that night for those who can fight. Don't forget that if the demons are not using magic, then our enchanted weapons will give us an edge. You can use the stealth van to get us in and out fast too.
Ah, we can't use the stealth van as there's no petrol and the windscreen has been painted black.
Zing T pipes up. He's been close by with his clipboard. Cheng and Kok look at him and Cheng speaks.
Why is the windscreen painted black, Zing?
Steve's orders, Master. He said he would make the van radar-proof.
And Zing.
This Steve is fucking crazy, Master. He'll get us all killed.
Kok says.
Okay. Kok, can you get these recruits organized enough to undertake this mission?
Yes, I'll be able to get them in and out, but I'm not sure what intel, if any, we'll get. I'll ask them to wear completely black clothing too.
Okay, good. At least we can show Steve that we are making progress. I know it's not what he wants, but at least it's something positive for a change.
Master, we cannot have these recruits wearing black. That would be contravening many different health and safety codes. They will need to be kitted out with full high visibility gear, jackets and trousers with reflected strips. Also, they need torches. Also, possibly large signs that they can put in front of the hidden positions so that people know where they are in case someone is moving some heavy machinery about.
Zing, what planet are you on? This is a stealth mission. They're not supposed to be seen.
Kok says resentfully.
Look, these things are written down on the clipboard. It's my job to make sure the rules are followed. If not, I have to report it to Steve.
You tell Steve all this even though you know he's a lunatic?
He's not a lunatic, and he's put me in charge of junior health and safety management, clipboard reporting.
God damn it. Are you in love with Steve, Zing?
I'm not in love with Steve. What are you talking about?
I love you, Steve. I love you.
Stop it, right now.
Cheng intervenes.
Okay, calm down. Obviously Zing here will tell Steve if we go in there without the proper PPE. So we need a plan whereby our team go in for a very brief session and come out almost immediately. If they linger, then they are dead. So no lingering or sightseeing. Can we organise a plan like that?
Yes, Master, that should be okay. I'll see what I can do with the recruits.
Kok replies.
Thank you, Kok. And Zing, I'd like you to take your clipboard and write an inventory of all the leaves that have fallen on the ground in the car park. We need to know size, colour, species, and each needs an individual identification number.
Master, with all respect, that sounds crazy. There are thousands of leaves out there. What would be the purpose of such a thing?
There's no purpose to it, but Steve said it must be done.
Okay, I'll get on it right away, Master.
Zing almost trips over his own feet, rushing out into the car park. Cheng strokes his beard with a sly grin on his face. This episode was brought to you by Cine Downloads, narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Today's episode featured Michael Berryman as Chief Exec, John Altman as the Hunter, George Wilson as Steve the Manager, Trevor Neal and Simon Hickson as the two Illuminati, Wai Wong as Master Cheng Fu. Other voices provided by Lee Norton, Nathan Noura Ben Carroll, Beverly Griffiths, Chris Ball Hero, Dan Schreiber, Flo Ryan, John Lee. Written, produced, edited and directed by John Mitchell. Co-produced by Chris Ball Hero. Sound recorded by Louis Thompson, Chris Ball Hero. Sound engineer Andrew Doc Collins. Theme tune by Jed Gray. Thank you for listening, and watch out for the next episode of the Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys.